there was an all-out push on Friday with Robyn Denholm, the chair of the company, speaking with us at Bloomberg Television, speaking with the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, all sorts of major news organizations about the merits of this pay package that the board is proposing. There's going to be a big shareholder vote in November on handing Musk this potentially up to $1 trillion worth of stock. There's a lot of caveats to all that Musk would have to sort of, pull a rabbit out of the hat again after, doing so after a 2018 pay package where the board laid out all these really ambitious, market value and performance milestones. Musk, at that time, it was kind of perceived as this moonshot pay package. He proceeded to knock them all out, and they're now calling this next pay package a Mars shot pay package. So, I think this is all sort of part of a piece, right, of trying to get investors to focus on, far out there targets, objectives for Musk that would make shareholders a whole lot of money. And it comes amid, real signs of stress for the core here and now business for Tesla, where their sales have just really struggled this year. And there haven't really been signs of sort of meaningful change in that trend, even into this quarter.
Right. So this will properly motivate him. I'm so glad you brought up the 2018 pay package and some of the moonshot milestones that it laid out for Elon Musk. What was the most, I don't want to use the word outrageous, but the most ambitious of those milestones? And did he surpass each and every one of them?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the milestones there, I mean, just even the market cap figures, I think, when they were laid out, it was just sort of unfathomable that, a car company could be, a $1 trillion company. And, give the guy credit. He went out there and made it happen. I think Tesla now is trying to incentivize him to, turn Tesla into a company that is many multiples of even NVIDIA, the most valuable company in the world in the here and now. And yet, the sort of path to getting there is really uncertain because, you've heard Musk make these pitches about robo-taxis and about humanoid robots, but, he's starting essentially from zero from a humanoid robot perspective. And from a robo-taxi perspective, he's got, a very, very small number of cars on the roads in Austin, Texas that still have people, in the front row minding those cars, and in certain cases actually still behind the wheel. So, he is a long way from accomplishing some of these new objectives that the board has set for him.
Does Musk buying shares personally ease governance concerns, or could it even actually reinforce skepticism about how closely Tesla's board is aligned with his self-interest, his being Musk?
I think just generally, whenever a CEO or an insider of a company is buying shares, it's taken as a good thing and not necessarily, something to look askance at from a corporate governance perspective. It does, however, I think it's worth sort of, thinking about this $1 billion purchase in context. This is a guy who's, sort of, $1 billion can be found in his couch cushions, right? He is the top person on the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. He was very briefly, knocked from that spot last week by Larry Ellison, but he's worth about, $420 billion at the moment. And so, just how meaningful this is. With any other CEO, you would look at $1 billion stock purchase and maybe take real note of that. With Musk, is it that, huge a show of confidence? Maybe not in the context of, just how much wealth he has.
Craig, all of this emphasis on what Elon Musk can do and what Elon Musk can achieve by a certain period really raises a key man risk here. Is there a succession plan for Elon Musk if something should happen to him? I mean, I'm looking at the company management, and he's got 17 years tenure at Tesla. The person with the next closest tenure or next longest tenure is Tom Zhu, at 2.4 years. He's the senior vice president of APAC.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's something that's sort of considered actually in this new proxy where the board sort of lays out this idea of getting, some buy-in from Musk in terms of helping and assisting on succession. At the same time, you're hearing Robyn Denholm, the chair of the board, tell Bloomberg TV last week that there aren't any other people out there like Elon who can actually lead this company over the next decade or so. And so,
Yep.
I think they want to kind of have it both ways, right? Of we must, incentivize this guy because he's the only one who can do this.
Right.
And yet we do realize we need to sort of assuage these concerns about succession.